If you've ever clicked on a Glock 17 Gen 5 5,000 round review video and you immediately found out that it was in fact not perfection and it broke your little Glock fanboy heart, then go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, guys. Welcome back to the Trench Grenade channel. Today we're going to be going over my findings on my Glock 17 Gen 5. I will be outlining the exact specifications in which the pistol was tested, fired, and all of the things. That way, to mitigate the controversy down in the comments section below. If you want to support the channel, literally in any way, hit the like button right now. Thank you for doing that. Leave your combat llama emojis down below and post what your thoughts are on the Glock 17 Gen 5 as compared to the following pistols: a Glock 19X, a Glock 19, a Beretta M9A4, and a SIG M18 and SIG M17. I will be comparing it throughout the video through my findings on the gun. Now, let's go over how the pistol was actually tested. By the way, did you know that we have a closed Discord server that you can get access to for $5 a month? That helps pay for the ammunition here on the channel and the time spent editing. If you want access to said closed Discord server, join the Patreon. You can get access to behind the scenes content and you can stay up late and hang out with the guys in the Discord server. It's a little sus, I know, but it's a good time. We also game on Battlefield 6, so check that out. The specifications in which this pistol, and yes, we will be doing an internal parts wear inspection on the Glock 17. The specifications in which this pistol was tested are as follows. The ammunition used was 3 different brands, and let's go over them right now. All of it was 115 grain or 124 grain brass case, full metal jacket, standard pressure ammunition with 100 rounds of Federal HST ammo. Hollow point ammunition. The brands in which the full metal jacket were tested were AAC ammunition, Sig Sauer ammunition, and Blazer, brass case, CCI Blazer ammunition. The magazines that were used were all standard 1 round OEM magazines. We did not use any Magpul magazines at all. It was all standard Glock OEM magazines. That's going to be important here in a second. Cleaning. The pistol has been cleaned on 3 separate occasions throughout the 5,000 round review. Basically, I cleaned it around, the 1,500 to 2,000 round mark. We'll go over why here in a minute. I cleaned it again after a match that was around the 3,000 or 4,000 round mark. And then I cleaned it right before the last training session before this video. So 3 separate cleanings. And I did not over lubricate the pistol. As many of you guys will say, well, did you over lubricate the pistol? No, it was lightly lubricated every single time. Testing. The testing procedures were as follows. I had 8 live fire training sessions with the Glock 17, okay? So 8 live fire training sessions. I shot 1 USPSA. Production is the division that I competed in. We'll go over how that actually went here in a second, but I competed in a 5-stage match, USPSA match. I also had 1 inadvertent torture test range session that is not a part of those 8 live fire range sessions. So technically 9, 1 turned into kind of a torture test, and we'll get into how that happened in a little bit. And roughly 10 hours of dry fire, as I dry fire roughly 15 minutes every day. Typically after my workout, I'll just dry fire a little bit, okay? So that is all the testing parameters. So for the vast majority of the testing, it was just done in a training status, right? It wasn't trying to push the pistol in a burn down fashion. Yes, the gun did get hot in a couple range sessions that you've seen here on the channel, but nothing excessive at all. This is probably the most fragile I've ever been on a pistol here on the Trench Grenade channel. And many of you guys that have been around for a while know that I am not easy on the guns, and this thing has been, if you will, babied the most. Out of all the guns on the channel, this one has been babied the most. If you think about like this bad Larry, the SIG M17, this thing has been beaten to death, and as well as a number of other pistols that we're going to go over and compare it to here today. Modifications. The modifications that were done to the pistol are as follows. Very simple. All weapons on set here today have been safety checked, okay? So don't really worry too much about that. But obviously, remember the 4 rules of weapon safety. The only modifications that have been done to this gun are Trijicon HD, what you're seeing right now that is failing to focus right there, okay? You're seeing the Trijicon HD sights. That is obviously a modification that has been done to the gun. Additionally, I have some Talon I guess, skate tape, Talon grips on there, okay, just to give it a better feel for sweaty hands, bloody hands, or muddy hands, and of course a Surefire X300 on the gun. But other than that, that is the extent of the modifications that have been done to it. Everything else is completely stock. The internals are stock. Pretty much, this is a stock gun, okay? So for all the guys that are going to be like, well, Trent, you're comparing apples to oranges. Your gun isn't stock. No, this is a stock Glock. The only thing that really matters to you is that the sights are not stock, as you can see right there, okay? So stock Glock 17 for all intents and purposes. If you're interested in buying one, this is pretty much what you're going to do. Next, let's get into the internal inspection, okay? Again, 5,000 rounds. It has not been cleaned after the very last session. Yesterday, during the Nighthawk video where she was checking to see what gun she wanted the most, what you're going to see right now is that there is no internal wear that is abnormal at all, okay? But just for make sure we cross the T's and dot the I's and all the stuff, here is what you're looking like for the internal parts. Give you a couple different angles there. Okay, so there is the grip module, nothing to write home about there at all. There you go. Okay, obviously the Surefire has seen better days with some carbon that's caked on there. Let's move on to the slide assembly here. All right, the barrel. Some minor cosmetic wear on the barrel, as you're seeing right there. Hopefully it's coming through right here where my pinky is touching. There's some wear right there on the side of the barrel. Check the top of the barrel and the bottom. So basically, make sure you get that. There is some wear on the front end of the barrel there. Basically no wear, okay? And here's the slide assembly, or the slide itself. Minor wear you're seeing right in the center, but that is normal from what I typically expect on a Glock pistol. Okay, so no major wear to report. Now my hands are covered in carbon. You guys are welcome. No major wear to report on the pistol at all. Let me reassemble this bad Larry off camera, and we'll move on. Okay, gun is back. Okay, so now that we're into, let's talk about the sand test, because that's why a lot of you guys are here, and the issues that we had with the gun, okay? So first and foremost, the gun did fail. The gun did fail at one point, and we're going to talk about it right now. The pistol was put through an inadvertent sand test. What was happening is I was out of the range doing a training session. There's a couple videos of this, and you're probably seeing some B-roll right now on the screen. But, excuse me, what was happening is every time I ejected my 1-round OEM magazines onto the ground, it would pick up a lot of sand right here around where the bullet would be. And every time I inserted said 1-round magazine for the next drill, because I had to cycle through probably like 20 different magazines, every time I put a new magazine in the gun, guess what came with it? A lot of sand. And over time, there's going to be guys freaking out in the comments right now like, that's not fair. Keep in mind, the M17, the M18, the 19X had no issues, and the M9, okay, had no issues with the exact same test we're talking about. This gun, around the 1,400 round mark, due to the sand and mud, that just light sand, I'm not talking like I dropped it in, I'm talking light sand from the magazine being put into the gun, those 1-round mags, the tiny bit of sand that was put into the gun completely broke the gun. What do I mean by broke? I mean the trigger would not reset without it physically being pushed back forward, right? So what happened was, on camera, throughout that video, I'm trying to pull the trigger, and it's like I would say like a 20-pound trigger pull. I'm out there, I'm trying to pull, and it's like a 20-pound pull. And eventually I'm like, this is stupid, I'm done, I'm going back home. I get back home, I clean the pistol, and what do I find out? Yep, it would not pass a functions test. So a functions test on a Glock pistol, after you reassemble it, when it's clear, you attempt to fire, you hold the trigger to the rear. You reciprocate the action, slowly let out, you should hear a metallic click, and the trigger should reset, okay? Notice as this pistol does pass a functions test. The trigger is resetting. After that 1400 round mark, when I got back home, after the inadvertent, very, very light amount of sand that was put up into the gun, I'm talking minuscule sand, the gun failed. It would not reset. What would happen is I would pull the trigger to try to, whether live fire or when I got back home, I would pull the trigger, cycle the action, and it would stay right there. I would release and it would stay to the rear. Okay, now it's obviously resetting as it's supposed to. But the gun was a one-shot Glock, okay? I put some CLP, right? You're seeing a little bit kind of refracting or reflecting off the barrel there. Actually, not too much. But the point is, I cleaned the pistol again, and out of nowhere, it fixed itself. So what I'm guessing happened, based on my observations, is a little bit of sand got into that mechanism in here, right where you're seeing, okay? Got into there or got between the trigger safety, okay? The trigger safety and the actual trigger, and prevented the safety from actuating as it's supposed to. And what this caused is a one-shot Glock 17. Now, I was just as upset as you guys are as you hear me say this, because this is my gun. This is my USPSA gun. This is, as many of you guys know, my go-to war pistol. This is the gun that sits at my bedside. This is my actual setup, right? This is my baby. So yes, I was just as upset as many of you guys are right now when this gun, in fact, did fail and turned into a one-shot Glock, okay? So before you go out into the comment section and say, user error, Trench hates Glock, I like Glock. I like Glock pistols, okay? And I cannot lie. You guys are seeing evidence here today. I like Glocks. I have a ton of them, allegedly, and I like them, okay? These are all airsoft guns, of course, but I love Glock. And I had issues. So what does that tell us before we move on with the rest of the review to the 5,000 round mark? Now the gun is fine, but roughly every 2 magazines, I don't know what's going on, every 2 magazines or so, I'll be running a drill, okay? And I'll get a random, extremely heavy trigger pull. And you can even ask Nighthawk. She's not here right now. Maybe in a later video I'll get her in here. But I'll be out there running the drill. Boom, 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 boom. Boom. And the trigger just will not pull. So I don't know if I just need to like straight up put this thing and, you know, take a shower with the lower or the trigger mechanism and see if there's any sand in there. I don't know if I need to take an air gun at this point and just try to see if I can get any debris out of there. But the very, very light sand and mud that got in there, again, not a real torture test, like just a normal training session, completely ruined this pistol, okay? So like I said, before you guys like totally white knight for Glock and get in the comment section and just say, Trench, you hate Glock. No, I like Glock. This thing just failed me, right? So the point I'm trying to make, now every 2 magazines or so, like I said, I'll be running drills, boom, 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 reload, boom, 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 and out of nowhere, then it'll fire, okay? So I don't know what's wrong with the gun. I'm not kidding when I say I'm about to just take an air gun to it, take the freaking water hose, spray out everything, completely dry it, and re-lubricate it with CLP and see if that fixes the issue, because that's the next step, right? Because I have a competition coming up with this in, I think, 2 weeks, a steel challenge, no big deal, but a fun match. And what I don't want to have happen is I'm out there trying to be the best I can be and get a heavy trigger pull, and I'm sitting there trying to get a 20-pound trigger pull, right? So let's move on from the negative. That is the super negative part of it. It inadvertently went through that sand test. Compared to the 19X and the M17, okay? So we're going to directly compare this now to the M17 right here. Boom, there you go. The M17, which I have a ton of rounds through. I'll give you a quick look at it. There it is. Crazy concept. And the Glock 19X. What I would say is the Glock 19X reciprocation is a lot nicer. So if I was to go out, even just feeling this, the way this gun is balanced feels a lot better than the 17. If I was to recommend a pistol to you right now, I think I would recommend the 19X over the 17. Why? Well, as I told you, the all these pistols were brand new when I got them. This one was, I've had for a long time. However, the 17 was brand new when I got it 3 or 4 months ago. And the slowness of the reciprocation on the 17 is not, it's minuscule. You would have to pick this up, fire 10 rounds with, and then either transfer the light or do it without a light. Fire 10 rounds, put it down, fire 10 rounds for the 19X. And the vast majority of the time, what I find is the 19X, because it's reciprocating a little bit faster, because the overall weight of the gun feels super balanced in the hand, the vast majority of the time, I would probably choose the 19X over the 17. Now, and for the M17, I think it's, I think I would say that I shoot the M17 probably the same. I would say the same as the 17, right? So between the M17 and the Glock 17, I think my performance is the same. Where this pistol begins to shine is at distance. I noticed that the marksman's barrel or whatever they got going on with the barrel in this gun, I did a 25 round 25 meter walk back. Okay, so I started at 7, 10, 15, 20, 25. If you watch in that video or in the B-roll you're probably seeing up here, throughout that video and throughout that walk back, what you can tell is the pistol is printing exactly where the user is pointing. Now that is not the same, and there's going to be a bunch of hate on this in the comments, that is not the same as a Glock Gen 3 Glock. Okay, the Gen 3 Glocks, if you're doing your part, you can outshoot them over time. If you train on a Gen 3 Glock over a long period of time, you're going to notice that you are more accurate than what the pistol is capable of at 25 meters, okay? So, yes, you can outshoot a Gen 3 Glock. I've done it. And what I noticed with the Gen 5 is the Gen 5 is honestly telling me, the Gen 5 17, it feels like the gun is insulting the shooter. Whereas I know exactly where those rounds are going and I can call the shots a lot more effectively. It feels in the feels with the Gen 5, okay? So in the terms of accuracy, extremely accurate pistol. You really can't fault it at all in the accuracy department on the Glock 17 Gen 5. Every time during that drill when I had the pistol on target for the headshot drill, it was 6 rounds, 25 meters headshot drill. It was stacking rounds exactly where it was presented for that drill. Moving on back to the iPad of truth, and we'll put this thing away for a second. Very accurate out to 25 meters. Hollow point performance, 100% reliable with Federal HST and Spear Gold Dot. Magazines. Okay, this is another major issue I forgot to mention. The magazines in the beginning of the testing did not want to drop free from the pistol. So I was running a USPSA match and I would hit the magazine release, and you'll see it in the B-roll here. Sometimes I hit the magazine release and I have to either strip it when I get that new magazine up, or it takes a second for that gun. I have to kind of give it a good jerk. Okay, I have to give it a good jerk and it will fall free. So I don't know what was going on in the beginning of this pistol's life, but now it's fine. Now there's no issue at all. Obviously this is a heavy magazine with 1 round in there, but you guys get the deal. So whatever's going on with the Glock manufacturing, this pistol had issues, and even guys in the comments before in older videos noticed that the magazine was not dropping free from the pistol for some reason, right? Now that issue seems to have alleviated itself, whether it's the tolerances have loosened up over time throughout the 5,000 rounds or whatever, but that is just one thing to note, that when I got this pistol brand new, I had to either strip the magazine sometimes or give it a little bit of assistance because the vast majority of the reloads that I do are not slide lock reloads. I'll be fighting, old mag out, fighting, right? So just one thing to note, for whatever reason, the magazines would not drop free in those first 1,000 rounds. Let's move on. Back to the iPad of truth. If you got this far, of course, leave your combat llama emojis down below. Join the Patreon. Thank you for doing that to my Patreon members. Gets you access to that Discord server. Yep, we talked about the gun dying at 1.4 thousand due to sand from magazines being dropped in sand. It wouldn't pass a functions test. We discussed that already. Every 2 magazines, there's a rough 1 round heavy trigger pull. Let me know if you guys have any speculation on how to fix that. We talked about cleaning. Would I recommend it? I would say the Glock 17 doesn't do anything great compared to the guns we're comparing it to. Okay, that doesn't make any sense, but you guys get what I'm saying. So if I were to say the SIG M17, a Glock 19X, and a Beretta M9A4, okay? So we have, ironically enough, we have all the pistols from the MHS here. If I was to say, okay, you own all three of these, right? Would I say you need to go out and get a Glock 17? No, I would not. I would say that you would be just fine running the 19X, you would be just fine running the SIG M17, or you would be just fine running the Beretta M9. I don't think it does anything exceptionally well over any of these pistols right here to warrant you going out and getting it. And I would even say if you don't like slow return to target, that i.e. The gun is taking a little bit longer to get back to the target due to the longer nature of the slide, then no, I would not say it's for you. Where I think this gun shines is for production division, right? Because I came in first out of two competitors. Woohoo, right? But hey, first is first. Came in first out of two competitors at a production USPSA in production division at a USPSA match for my local area. And that's good for me. Out of like 31 competitors, I came in, I believe, 14 or 15. And a lot of those guys were shooting open guns or PCC. So I beat a ton of PCC guys or open guys or even carry optics with this gun. That's good. I'll take that all day long, okay? So for those guys, do better. You literally have a dot and a staccato, do better. Or you literally have a PCC, do better. A guy with a stock Glock 17 is beating you. Just being funny. But anyway, what I would say, my final thoughts on this are it has better performance for hollow point expansion. Obviously, if you were to test this in gel versus like a 19X size gun, this is going to have a little bit better performance in the hollow point expanding as they're supposed to. Now, does that warrant you needing to go out and buy a Glock 17? Absolutely not. And honestly, if I were to go back in time, I think I would either do one of two things. I think I would either purchase another 10,000 rounds of ammunition for my Glock 19X, or I would probably just purchase another Glock 19X, or maybe just keep shooting the 19X till it breaks and do that, right? So am I saying I regret the Glock 17? I don't regret it. Maybe a tiny bit. I'm glad I have it in my collection. I'm glad that it's my, I guess, go-to-war pistol because it does have better sight radius. It does have better performance with hollow point ammunition than some of the ones I've just listed with a little bit shorter of a barrel. But if you take that factor out of it, honestly, the Glock 17 it doesn't do anything exceptionally well over a 19X, right? So you guys take that information what you will. This is just my results after 5,000 rounds. I don't think I'm forgetting anything major that I should mention. Overall, what would I rate it? If a Glock 19X is a 10, I would probably give it a 9.5, right? It's just slightly worse, but I still really enjoy the pistol. I enjoy shooting it. It's the gun I shoot the most right now. If you see any of the videos on my channel, I'll go out to the range, talk a little bit, and then I shoot this thing for like 500 rounds. So it is one of my favorite pistols, but having now shot, I mean, where's the M18? This pistol alone, this M18 right here, has, I believe, 6,000 rounds on it alone. And I would have no issues, training with this thing, but they're all a little bit different. And what I would say is Nighthawk prefers the 19X or the M18, even over the 17, right? There's just something about the faster return to target with the shorter slide, the longer grip and shorter slide, that is more comfortable for me and for Nighthawk, right? But you guys let me know what you think down below. I'm sure there'll be guys that are like, you're crazy, Trench. Why are you telling us there's issues with the Glock 17? It's my findings, and I'm going to be honest with my audience. Okay, if you got this far, hit the like button, leave your combat llama emoji down below. Let me know if you've had any issues with a brand new Glock 17 Gen 5 in 2025. And until next time, this is going to be Trench Grenade, your average, a mostly positive Glock 17 review video enjoyer that your mom says that we have at home, signing out. Cheers. So, Let me relax. We got 6 rounds, head box, time standard. Really doesn't matter, but it's gentleman rules, right? All right, here we go. Okay, 6 rounds head box. We're going to show every yard mark for every time, just like before. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all in the head box, moving back. Let's see what we got going on. Yeah, I've got a fresh one right here. Okay, 6 rounds. Head box. Okay, moving back. Oh yeah, I show every time on these. Okay, we have 1 Delta, 1 Charlie. Hopefully you guys are seeing that. 1 Delta, 1 Charlie. All the rest are in the A zone. Moving back. All right, should be appropriate right here at the 15-meter line. Stay with me, tripod. Okay, I've got to show you guys. Here we go. I'll take it. Only 1 more Charlie. All the rest are in. So 1 Delta, 2 Charlie. All the rest are A's. All right, we're moving back. 20-meter line. Last one for our aggregate to end the day. All right, last ones of the day. Let's make them count. I have pulled 1. We'll find out when we get down range. If you guys enjoyed today's video, all you got to do is hit the like button. It's a free concept, helps out a ton. Let me know if you enjoyed it down below. Let me know which portion of the video you enjoyed more, the training or the drama. All right, we got a little wild back there. Okay, so we got 2 mics, right? 2 mics, 1 over the left, 1 over the right. Another Charlie right in the throat. Okay, this was from the last one, so just everything head up. 2 mics on our ag. To start the day, we had 2 mics on the ag as well.